were kind of in the driver's seat, especially because they are a team that's very cracked on a map like Inferno that wants the deciding map for them. But we will jump straight into our first round here. Fierce Esports versus CeX on Nuke as the first pick. And it will just be Emin and Swaggy to hold things down on the ramp. And actually, they're going to get all the kills necessary. One will go their way for CeX, but Fierce, they're able to hold onto ramp fully and shut down the round on the start of the CT side.
Yeah, that started as quickly as it ended, really. Fierce Esports just cleaning up the kills. Emin and Swaggy just absolutely destroying CeX there. Obviously, who is the actual map pick of Nuke?
This is CEX's pick, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't expect them to go for that pick. Event time. The body is going to do a lot of damage. The nades as well combining, but they may be able to actually get the bomb down here.
Now going for this plant. The grenade actually denies it. Emin on that rotation was able to cut it off just in time. So now Venom will try to recover the round as best as possible. He's gotten the 1 kill so far. This UMP in the vents. He's going to try and do as much damage as possible, and Fazan will eventually take him out of the round. Fierce survive with 3 weapons, one of which will be an SMG, but at least they keep their economy going as CeX will now be moving into a full buy on that AK. Obviously, the strategy has kind of shifted given that the economy has changed as well. And because they didn't get that plant, they can't get as much utility as they would have liked.
Yeah, it is unfortunate for them. However, they are something aggressive here, I believe, as they are just sending creepers outside. The early nade damage is going to add its way up. Swaggy gets the first kill on to Nuke Dog. A lot of damage to be done to Murky and Rezu, both at 11 HP combined. Then W does get 1. As it looks like they are taking secret control now, but KP's coming in with the flank, takes out a low HP Murky.
And that player down in secret, he's been Molotov'd off. Venom should be able to backstab him if the outside position isn't being spotted by any of these other Fierce players. Capiz, he thinks he just has to worry about the one fight. In fact, he has to worry about that flank from behind. Venom does come through for them, even on that low HP. Swaggy still sits on the B bomb site in the meanwhile. In fact, 2 players for Fierce are committed to that ramp position. Fazan will actually take some initiative and push through to lobby. Eliminate some of the angles that CeX can attack this A site from. In Venom, he's actually going for the flank in through heaven. Slow and steady, and if he gets this first pick up to Hype, it's going to be so massive, but Hype finds the frag. Meanwhile, the CeX players, they are on that B bomb site, and so Fierce might actually not rotate to the site based on the fact that they have spotted that player out in heaven.
Yeah, the problem now for CeX is they make so much noise getting onto the site, and the rotates will be coming in. The bomb does go down. Should be an easy kill, but Swaggy nearly whiffs it, but will finish off LS. ZNXW, not ZNX. Out there, gets the triple as well. A great clutch by him to give CeX their first kill, first round, I should say.
ZNX has been a little bit lackluster in the series so far. He's actually come up big in a few rounds, getting those multi-frags. He actually secured the win for CeX on that second map, getting a multi-frag on Banana. But now, this time in the clutch.
Money Crew.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, so this is the first map for them, if anyone just joined us.
Didn't preface that quite correctly, but yeah, now he comes through in that huge clutch, and that's going to be fantastic for CeX. We do move to a very awkward vibe for both sides, as SMGs are across the board, as well as the 5-7 Hype.
Yeah, the 5-7 comes to there to take down Rezu, though. A dink goes on to Fzan towards the vents as well. LS has made his way into B. Murky will get that kill, and the bomb does go down. Swaggy takes down ZenX. NW. I don't know how to say his name right now. Unfortunately, Murky and LS in the 2 versus 4. A nice kill there by LS. Can he get the second one? He actually flicks around, takes down Capiz. Brilliant. Murky comes in for a ramp as well. Round over. LS and Murky just clutch it out.
That is a huge flick from Liam to save his life, and not only that, secure the round for CeX. It turns the round completely on its head. You get one incredible play in the previous round, and straight with another one is Liam for CeX. They tie things up now at 2 and 2 apiece as they look to get started off hot on this T side. It has been close a few of these rounds, but if they're going to be able to pull off individual performances like that, this is going to be definitely scary for Fierce.
Yeah, certainly it will be. the dink does go down onto Rezu, but he'll be able to take down Swaggy outside, as they do just try and wrap around, abusing the lack of outside control from Fierce in a couple of these rounds. Now, they've actually decided to go upper and wrap around the A site.
Moving on through, they will spot out Fazan. They haven't cleared out the hut altogether, but Capers, his feet will be spotted. Venom will find the kill. Emin is actually very, very swift on this flank of the flank almost. Gets the first kill onto Venom, but isn't suspected the second player. Actually, the long-range headshot onto Liam. But ultimately, CeX will close out the round. They keep 3 alive, and they will be happy with that small little chain of rounds they've been able to develop now on this T side. But Fierce, they're looking to answer back on this full buy.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone who's just joining us, it's the CeX map pick as well. Clearly a bit of an odd pick for them. Usually they like to go for something like an Inferno to get that out early, but maybe a bit worried about what Fierce can do. They do take it very close against Ferrari and Vegas. I believe both these teams have actually played Ferrari and Vegas on Inferno today. So obviously a bit worried about that. As this is an interesting execute from CeX actually. It allows him to vent dive, but Swaggy again gets the first kill. It's just up to the rest of his team now to see if they can keep the lead.
Yeah, and Fierce have been playing very aggressive outside. This is the second time I think I've seen this angle come out from them so far on CT, and they're actually going to play off one another's contact. Capers, he is spotting for on top of that silo, and with that flash being thrown, his position will be known, and now Swaggy has the opportunity to go for the flank, but he gets checked out by Nuke Dog. Or actually, sorry, it was ZNX to find the kill on Swaggy, but Capers went down simultaneously, so outside control is completely lost for Fierce, and they have to be very worried about getting cut off on the rotate. They deal with the player in lobby, but the vents rotation is completely siphoned off, and I think they're looking to double back up towards A, and they're falling straight into Fazan's trap. He sat at the top of the vents very patiently, hearing the footsteps coming his way, and is able to capitalize fully. Liam now in this 1 versus 2 does have the bomb on his back, but he has lost track of where these Fierce players could potentially reposition.
Yeah, exactly. They can really go anywhere at this point. Could go up around and go to heaven, or sorry, hell, and then make their way back into ramp. That is why LS is clearing this entirely, but this is clever from him now. Fierce are going to expect him to commit to this B site, but he's actually going to shift all the way back up and go towards heaven. I believe they are actually both outside, possibly in secret right now, which will mean a retake will be quite painful for them. The bomb should go down now for LS very quickly here.
He plants away from main, thinking that maybe they could commit via that position outside. And Liam, he's going to try and take a fight to start things off. He's going to hold that vent, expecting that they would have rotated towards that B side. And he actually gets to a very forward position. They might not be expecting this. That's actually hard clear. And the call doesn't come out fast enough. Emin just doesn't react, and Liam is able to convert on both kills in the clutch. CeX, it comes down to so many close rounds and so many individual performances, but you do start to question why Emin has reacted so slowly there.
I mean, I had to take a sip of my cider to see if that just happened. He just did. He didn't even react at all there. He literally just as soon as he dies, he's like he turns around and then just dies. That call must have been instant, surely. Probably just misread the positioning. Maybe the calls got mixed up there. However, they do lose the round. 4 rounds on the T side now for CeX as they start to abuse the pistols and just push down into secret.
Yeah, the staple of most of these T sides on a map like Nuke is typically those outside smokes, and CeX, they're happy to deploy them almost every round, even in rounds where you should have the advantage going against these pistols, but looking to close the distance and make use of the SMG, as well as the superior weaponry. Venom will be the last one to close out the round for CeX. 5-2, as they did lose the first 2 rounds, but CeX have been on a bit of a hot streak here, starting off this T side.
Yeah, Fierce right now, not living up to their first seed. Although it is not their map pick, and there is still 2 maps after this, and we are still on Nuke as well. They shouldn't keep their heads down. They need to try and contest outside a lot more. It looks like CeX are going to try and will get the first 2 kills, and FSAD comes in. Murky will take down Capers. FSAD will take down Nuke Dog. Murky trying to find something in this round. 1 versus 2 now, low HP, no AWP available to be picked up by him. And it's interesting that CeX haven't actually put him on the AWP just yet. M1 and Swaggy now, 2 versus 1. Plenty of time for Murky to play with.
Oh, and actually, Murky gets flanked out in the end by Emin, and Fierce have put a halt to how CeX have been approaching these rounds. They've been able to stop things altogether. In fact, finally a low number situation on both sides finally goes the way of Fierce, as typically when they have won the rounds it has been a large numbers advantage. But CeX, they have certainly come up clutch across the board, and they will deploy similar smokes as seen in previous rounds. Fierce, they are expecting this, however. They've deployed the Molotovs to at least slow things down, but ultimately CeX will wait those out and still progress in through Secret.
Yeah, again, CeX takes Secret control with ease, and expecting his gun walking around the corner for some reason. Clearly not expecting the positioning there. I don't know how, though. Surely the comms come out for the Fierce side. As Hype has made his way down the vents and into decomp. Swaggy with the AWP out, trying to see if we can find anyone pushing. Again, though, I'd like to point out CeX have decided not to buy up the AWP on Murky. Obviously, they lost the previous round and they had the chance to do it, but they're going to continue to go for the 5 AKs. Clearly their strategy on Nuke. Maybe they don't like to go for those aggressive picks outside with Murky.
Finds the timing onto Nuke Dog, and he's actually going to get a whole lot of information outside. Fazan as well. The kill in lobby, and he's trying to do his best dancing around those boxes, but ultimately he is dropped. Brings things into a 3-on-3 now as ZNX. He does bring them an advantage. And CeX, they're still unsure as to which of these sites they want to go to. They ultimately have to make the move towards the A site as Hype wrapping it on through. We'll start funneling them in, but Fazan is here lying in wait for ZNX. The bomb is dropped. Fazan! He pulls out both the kills necessary at the end there. The smoke obviously gave away the second player's position, but he knew where ZNX was that whole time because he'd killed his teammate prior. Fierce are able to chain 2 rounds together, but again it comes down to a very crucial 1 versus 2.
Yeah, good job there by FSAN. Interestingly, this is the last game before the grand final. The first game we saw was Fierce Esports, who, well, clearly played this map before, hoping to have some stuff ready in CeX. It is kind of a higher opposition this time, though. It does get the entry onto Capers. Now, the Swaggy flank coming out, I believe, to... No, that's not who would have been the player to drop vents and come fast. Swaggy's actually low towards him. In fact, he's 1 HP, and Murky will finish him off. A Tech 9. Oh, sorry, an AK picked up now for Rezu. As Fierce Esports are a man down and a Nuke, that can be quite the problem. Such a massive hole can be so easily exploited.
Yeah, and because they have that outside control, although they have a player spotting on the side of Fierce, trying to make sure that they don't progress up too far, flanking in through Hell and maybe catching out that ramp player off guard. Fazan will take lobby control, at least the best that he can, given that they do not have the numbers to work with. But CeX, they are on the move to his position, and they will cross paths. But Hype, he's on the transition, and he's going to try and cut them off. Emin is right behind him as well. He'll get a trade, but Murky is there as well. And CeX, they're expecting the one player to maybe be there, and they're able to get that trade, but Emin has the opportunity to get one, potentially fall back, but swings a little bit too wide, and Murky is lying in wait. And CeX, they again pick up another round on this T side, and as we go further and further, as CeX get more and more rounds, it's going to get very, very dangerous for Fierce, because the T side definitely isn't favored in this new version of Nuke.
No, not really at all. When the catwalk and such was on it, it was a little bit, not T-sided in general, but it made it easier for the T side. The CTs should be able to maintain that, so try a little bit easier, or at least try and contest with that. Murky, again, gets an entry onto Capers, as FSAN's actually able to trade it with just the USP. Crisp with that AK, FSAN will get another kill. Hype on the site, possibly trying to do something, does get Nuke Dog, doesn't even take any damage as well, but unfortunately has to go for the reload, and FSAN will pick up this AK. He may even decide to go for this.
Yeah, we saw him come up big from a similar position with an AK. And he's actually going to try and walk on through it, but CeX, they're just willing to take these fights, holding the double angle, trying to peek at the exact same time, and if they can get the timing right, it would definitely work in their favor. But Fazan, he's still creeping up through past that smoke. He's found the first onto Venom. The first headshot is there, and ZNX, he has to play things so passive. He's playing things smart, actually, instead not taking that aim duel, not giving Fazan the chance, and with no kit on his belt, he will go and try and hold on to that AK-47.
Yeah, that is just smart there in the situation. You know that if San can take the Angels, and most of the time he will win one of the highest skilled players we have at the moment here at Epic LAN. San 11-7 now. Let's look like yes, are going to go for the buyout. That one AK has given them some confidence going to this round. Unfortunately, they do lack quite a bit of utility. And finally, the AWP does come out for Murky.
Yeah, you talked about it earlier. You tried to highlight it that they made the conscious decision to just avoid that weapon and comfortable to take the fights with the rifles. But this time they're trying to change things up. They're trying to make Fierce uncomfortable here as they do still spread thin, and Fierce haven't shown that they want to pick up an AWP either. In fact, they have the economic situation to do so, and they continue to struggle to hold on to the outside control. And as a result, they continue to give up picks.
I don't understand the fights where you'd take down Murky. The AWP already gone out of this round. Nice nade. Didn't have to do as much damage as I thought it was. Mzan take down Rezu as well. Interesting by Capers there that he didn't even think they could already be down. There must have been a miscomp by Swaggy saying maybe he had a gap in the smoke, because I've seen that before on the right hand side of the outside smoke. There's a little gap that possibly he could see, so maybe someone jumped across and he hasn't seen it. But again, this is a miscommunication, and this is what a lot of teams do have a problem with on Nuka. I've had personal experience for this, where communication is key for knowing how many people are down ramp, how many people are down secret, how many people are in this B site. It needs rotations. You don't play anyone in B to start off with. It's one of the only maps you really don't play anyone to start off with. And Swaggy finishes off the round for Fierce Esports.
We actually do have information about the way that the vetoes went. So CeX banned out Mirage to start things off. Fierce banned Inferno as their first ban, so that's why CeX have gone to the second pick of Nuke. But Fierce, the second map will be Cash. CeX banning Train, Fierce Overpass, and then the final map should be Dust 2. But if we get that far.
Yeah, and gets a nice deep shot onto Hype. And the vent play has again worked out for CeX. The ball will be going down. LS does take down Swaggy before Capers is able to trade that out, as now Fsan a bit worried about going down the vents here. You never know, the pistols could be very close. There's actually 3 Glocks on the side of CeX. I was about to say it should be pretty easy for them to clean it up. ZNX nearly gets that kill if he's able to just hold on to his bullets. A couple more seconds. Murky now trying to hold the angle, but unfortunately doesn't hit the immediate headshot. Fsan is going for the defuse without the kit, and he definitely has time.
Yeah. Things get close once again, despite the fact that CeX were just on Glocks and a couple of Deagles. They found that opening pick, and it definitely opened things up. They got down the vents. That's a definite win for them as far as they're concerned in terms of objectives. They've gotten the bomb down. They've done some economic damage to Fierce. And in fact, they've denied, large in part, Fierce from picking up an AWP. They had enough money on Swaggy, but he didn't want to go for a glass cannon AWP. And as a result, we will now jump into a little bit of a freeze time. I actually was almost convinced Murky was going to win that 1 versus 2 just for the fact he's currently sitting 17-9. Yeah. He's been feeling good about himself.
He's been definitely feeling good about himself, and I have to say I love that underwater angle. I don't know why, that just really gave me a tickle. That is just a great angle.
Ask and you shall receive.
Exactly.
Right
I mean, hey, I was praying for an underwater. Here it is. I mean, what an angle that is. Just absolutely beautiful observing there. So we do wait for this unpause to come in. I don't think anyone can tell I'm trying to fill the time with the compliments of this lovely underwater shot on the B site. And we seem to have some statistics coming up on the old whiteboards here.
I don't think they update in real time. Unfortunately, we don't have that kind of technology quite available.
Wouldn't that be brilliant?
It just shows the scoreboard on both of the screens.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And I believe the freeze time has been cancelled there as well. I just saw the little notification come up. CeX 7-6 up on the T side. Not bad at all, really, for Nuke. As Swaggy does have the AWP out again, though. CeX decided not to give anything towards Murky, but I feel like he's been playing better on that rifle anyway.
Yeah, able to get a lot going, and the pace for CeX does certainly slow down when they pick up that AWP, so maybe looking to try and get down Secret as fast as possible, as these outside scopes have been deployed almost every single round from CeX. When they run out, in fact, Big Dog jumping across will allow Murky and ZNX to get both the kills in Secret, so playing just as bait, he's happy to get that trade in ZNX. He's actually cut off the rotate as well. He had the bomb on his back. If he goes down in that fight, it's certainly a lot of information for Fierce, and it's a slower progression onto this B bomb site.
Yeah, Swaggy gets out the leg there. Dangerous stuff from LS. They're not actually able to get into the site right now due to the position of Swaggy. The bomb towards the double doors as well. Unsure on what they wish to go for right now. Ooh, the timing for FZ, and it will be, as the A site now has been cleared by ZNX. Swaggy trying to go for something here, the former Bulldog player, going against a couple of CeX players and a former Planet Key Dynamics player as well. Rezu does take down Swaggy, 8-6, the half one on the T side by CeX.
Things are definitely looking good for CeX as we do approach that CT side swap for them. There's still one more round to be played out here, and we're going to see a very poor investment from Fierce Esports. They do have a scout, a couple of SMGs, and an upgraded pistol. I think it is the 5.7 for one of these players, and Swaggy, he's not going to be able to get much done because once again CeX deploy those outside smokes, he'll try and throw a nade to do as much damage as possible, but Hype is the one to open things up. It sounds like kills the door, and that's actually prompted the main rotation from CeX. They're actually going to hit onto this A bomb site, but will they suspect that the lobby has been compromised?
Yeah, obviously not. They still do have the advantage. I don't think he expected him to be there. FZ gets free with the UMP. One bullet left, and he gets the headshot surely around now for Fierce as they do close it out 8-7. Brilliant stuff there.
Fierce Esports, they're able to recover. Things did get a little bit close in so many of these rounds. I think there's been 6 or 7 2 versus 1s or 1 versus 1s in this entire half, and that's the that is half of these rounds that could have swung either way. It definitely could have impacted more rounds to follow, but that will be your half as we do progress into CEX's CT side, and we actually see a significant amount of
a lot of utility damage by Hype.
Yeah. CeX now, they're actually going to go for the 4 armor, the 1 kit onto Venom. That will be Rezu picking that up for the side as Fierce. They're just looking to go for some... This is a very basic strategy as far as things go, is they're actually going to just throw a decoy in, I think. And as the blast breaks, it actually feigns the footsteps. Liam has so many chances there, but he just whiffs on every single one of those players coming out.
Yeah, Nuke Dog is exactly 1 HP. The headshot will finish him off as well. I'm not sure he actually hit a shot at the P2K though. He seems to just miss every single one. A lot of people like to use the P2K like the Glock, but I can tell you right now it's not exactly the same. There is quite a difference between the way the Glock aim and the P2K aims. Just because it's unsilenced doesn't mean it is the Glock. It will be an actual full AK buy for this.
I almost feel like the P2K actually masked his presence, the fact that they were all firing right from underneath him. That said, the P2K will find a kill in this round. You can't talk smack about a weapon and not expect it to get a kill in the very next round.
It's the caster's curse in full effect.
It does happen more often than people seem to realize. But into this 3 versus 3, Fierce Esports have conceded 2 of their players, but none of these weapons have been recovered for CeX so far. They're actually going to group up together and just stick towards this B bomb site. And Fierce, they actually still need to recover the bomb, so they are going to take their time and potentially try and bait out some of these players if possible. Try and see if where the stack may be headed, if it is even a stack from the CEX side.
Yep, Fierce, I believe, have possibly cleared out the A site as well. They just double push into Squeaky together to make sure that is clear. CeX may be feeling a bit upset. Fierce have gone to A. They will possibly just go for the exit, see if they can find a couple weapons possibly as well, and just save those into the next round as Fierce Esports should take the advantage here on the side of Nuke.
Yeah, maybe setting themselves up now to try and recover those weapons that were taken down earlier on the round. I imagine they'll try and get onto T roof and get that. I think there was an AK on the top of Silo, so that'll definitely be fantastic for them to bring into this next round. In fact, they will go straight up, but there is a player lying in wait. Evan gets the first, almost lines up the second, but he has backup coming his way, actually converts the second. Nuke Dog does eventually take out Capiz, who was trying to get there to help, and ultimately it seems like he might be able to carry this one forward, given that the objective was to stop him from getting an AK. And Capiz has still managed to Nuke Dog has still managed to take it from the lifeless corpse of Capers.
Yes, indeed, as the buy does go out for CeX. A decent amount of damage in the previous round. As you see, it actually forces FZAN to take no head armor against M4s because of how much damage they took on that eco. And that is definitely good for the CeX side. As the outside smokes, default smokes, I really like to call them here on Nuke, have to do this to take any sort of control on this map. But it looks like M1's actually going to go for Mini, and absolutely fantastic stuff onto Murky to already put CeX at a massive disadvantage. Capers has made his way into Secret as well, 42 HP and holding the angle. Nuke Dog trying to go towards the stairs, pre-aiming the stairs, but Capers has made his way down. And now Fierce Esports in this first gun round are 5-2 up.
And they're still very, very isolated. CeX are trying to go for any sort of a individual play, and as a result, Rezu gets caught off guard. FZAN is there as Liam is considering dropping into the hut. And that will be another round for Fierce as they start things off very, very well for themselves on this T side. They've been able to get 3 rounds in a row and stop the full buy of CeX, as we do now see a pistols, or a force buy round almost, from CeX. CeX do this quite often as well, where even if they can force buy to a certain amount, they just hold on to pistols without any armor, and they actually have a ridiculous conversion rate on it, and Murky will open things up fantastically.
Yeah, he is quite good at that deagle. You find that with a lot of AWP players though, that can really hit shots with the deagle as well. So it does take a lot of skill to be as good on that weapon. As now, Fierce, they have the advantage. They have sight control, as it looks like CeX are just going to group up and see if they can get some exit frags.
For them to go for this as well. If they, but Hype actually peeks into all 3 of them, he'll lose his life. The AK will be recovered. In fact, they're going to commit to this, but ZNX gets stopped almost instantly as they open the door. They'll decide that that wasn't the room that they wanted to enter, and CeX, they do back away with that AK now. I imagine they'd be able to hold on to it. Liam actually gets spotted out on top of main. I thought for sure he was going to have a sitter of a frag there.
Yeah, the problem with him getting on there is I'm sure someone must have heard him drop onto it from silos. I think that's what gave him away. Unfortunately, Fierce 11-8 T side of Nuke. CeX's map pick as well.
3 rounds separates these teams, and they actually had the chance to invest in an AWP, and they will onto Murky. More comfortable to have that on their CT side, it seems, than on their T side in terms of converting rounds altogether. But Fierce are the same sort of route that CeX went with the full rifles buy, not putting it onto an AWPer like Swaggy Avi to start things off. But they're going to set themselves up into a default here. Fierce aren't committing too quickly to either of these sites, but they're going to start walking on through. The pistol track coming out more to the side, and in fact the trades don't go their way for Fierce. Emin, he's been able to creep out vent, but he's taken so much damage in the process.
And that nade from Murky will finish off M1, but it is Capers alive. Gets spotted out there, his position's given away. They have so many angles on him now as well. That flash, so easy to avoid. Murky and Heaven as well, an easy pick for him.
CeX have finally been able to get around on their CT side as they do pick up that AWP and the rifles. But Fierce Esports, they do still have a decent amount of economy going forward. They have some residual cash as well after this buy. They have all the utility that they could possibly want, aside from potentially a 4th grenade on Swaggy Avi. But instead, they're going to go for the same nades that we have seen almost every round on both sides of the T. Calling them the default nades is rather, yeah.
It's a fair assumption.
It is
a fair assessment, I should say. Nice nade on M1 there as well. Nuke Dog dropped to low HP. I believe a tag comes out. He gets the AWP out on the T side, and he will be taken down by Hype. I'm not sure if there's a gap through the smoke or they're just spamming.
But either way, ramp will be opened up for Fierce. They should be able to get down pretty much uncontested so far, as none of the CeX players have committed just yet. In fact, they're fine that Fierce has this control. They're just looking for that Heaven wrap in case it does come out. They're playing things awfully careful because CeX, they are known for that counter aggression once they lose portions of the map. Typically teams that don't have information in a particular spot will go very, very aggressive and try and catch you out. And fortunately, Swaggy has punished one of these CEX players. Venom still sits here though. The first duel traded almost instantly by Hype, and that should allow the bomb to now be planted for the Fierce Esports side.
Yeah, they weren't rushing into anything there, and that's good by them. Just double peeking towards T-Com, or the control room. And they do a good job of taking out, I believe that was Rezu there. Only one man gone down for Fierce so far. And ZNX and Liam, or LS, try and save now.
Yeah, I've done a terrible job of remembering that Venom is Rezu a number of times.
Yeah, and for some reason I can't say ZNX is there. Like, I was doing it perfectly, literally perfectly, Aaron, and for some reason at the start of the game I was like, there's just too many weird letters there.
Either way, this will be a conversion once again for Fierce Esports. They hold on to 4 of their weapons and can continue their hot streak on the T side. This is CEX's map pick. So far they haven't looked too convincing on the CT side. In the round that they did win, they did keep 3 alive, but the fact that they need to continuously go for these saves and the fact that they're not winning those opening duels, considering the angles are typically favored for you as a CT player on Nuke, is definitely a cause for concern moving forward. In fact, Swaggy Avi has the AWP in his hands once again, and so that's even more cause for concern.
Yeah, that's going to be scary for them, but we see the counter offer out. Clearly, CeX are more comfortable to take it out on the CT side, and I see that as a fair thing to do. It is easier to open the CT side. There's a lot of angles to go towards. Heaven, Hell, outside Garage, Secrets, outside CT. So many angles to play from with the ult, whereas the T side it's quite hard to find picks unless you're going for outside, but then again you're peeking straight into them. So it's difficult as a T side AWPer on Nuke.
And the shadows might help Liam out here as he'll actually smoke it out for Fierce Esports. LS not wanting to take that fight initially. ZNX does sit on the other side of it, so if anybody decides to walk through it, it would ultimately lead to be their undoing, but Fierce are going for this Heaven Wrap. In fact, they want to go towards the safe side and find opportunities. 2 of them will double up, and in fact, I think it's Swaggy with the AWP there to trade. But Nuke Dog, the timing's so critical here. In fact, I think he got turned the wrong way initially. Swaggy will capitalize in full effect. The P250 as well as the ult coming through. But Rezu has done phenomenally so far on that MP5. In fact, they've equalized this into a 2-on-2 exchange.
He's also got the bomb down. The problem is he's got 1 bullet in his gun. Takes down Murky. The problem there for Murky, I was going to say, is that he's actually isolated. But low HP for both players. The PT50 headshot could take him out. Rezu will hit the headshot, and it is Rezu. Absolutely fantastic. 1 bullet exactly in his gun. He had to hit the headshot there, or that is round over.
That's a round that's... Again, CEX have won so many rounds just off individual performances. Rezu just saves it completely in the 2 versus 4. It's phenomenal that is allowed to happen. I imagine those 2 players that died initially with the MP5 would have been caught off guard.
I believe it was originally a 2v5 actually,
oh,
because he got the first
yes,
kill on
Murky
Hype.
got the kill. Yeah.
Yes, and then he was able to get a couple more kills, which brought it into a 3 versus 2, or 1 more kill, and he brought it into a 3 versus 2 with the bomb down. Murky gets 1 kill from behind, and then obviously gets the 1 tap. Yeah. Murky gets killed, and then he takes down Swaggy.
We don't have instant replays, but your memory is the instant replay on this in this one at least.
I need everyone just to imagine that you can see him doing that on Nick. That's the instant replay. As Fierce up 12-10. An awkward round to lose. Probably could have guaranteed them 14 rounds due to the economy of CeX, but they actually have a decent economy this time. As CeX are lacking a little bit. Nuke Dog can't miss those. He needs to hit that initial shot. He basically only gets 1 kill from that position. Anyway, that Molly will force Rezu back as well. He doesn't even decide to go to the right side. He just forces himself all the way back. And there we go. A perfect lurk from M1. It's actually going to be the entirety of the team pushing down. And there's 3 players just waiting to push with the bomb. The B site cleared. And it looks like the clutch from Rezu meant absolutely nothing in the grand scheme.
And unfortunately, it doesn't really matter in this round too much because Fierce do make it down regardless to that lower bomb site, but they did a small sort of micro play there where somebody is in squeaky towards the A site, and while they're flanking to try and get out of the decontamination room, they actually open the doors simultaneously to try and mask the door opening noise and allow them to flank out ramp and potentially heaven on the A site if they're given that opportunity. Obviously, Nuke Dog was there; he does spot them out, but it's a nice little tidbit that Fierce have in their arsenal.
Yeah, and this is sort of the level now where we start to see sort of micro plays. Sort of the lower bracket don't really focus as much on the micro plays. There's nothing as smart as that anyway. To mask sounds, to possibly bait someone out to thinking, okay, maybe they're coming A on this. It's just smart from Fierce. Obviously, they have a lot of backing behind them. The PC's providing a videographer with them. I'm sure they have a coach as well. I'm not sure he's with them at Epic at the moment, but they have a lot behind them, and they're definitely a capable team. It's now their time to try and prove it against CeX, and then take their revenge in the grand final if they can. But CeX, they are not out of this yet, not by a long shot.
Outside control once again conceded by the CT side. It's been a theme so far, and in fact Fierce wanted to be more aggressive when they were playing the CT portion of the map, but CeX taking a more passive approach. Don't perhaps have the utility to contest that they would have liked. Despite the fact that they have minimal investment, Rezu has shown a profundity and a proficiency on that MP5, so it's definitely not guaranteed. ZNX does open things up nicely. Swaggy, though, a very quick 2 in return. And on the rotation, Murky will at least answer back and bring this one to a 3-on-3.
Yeah, great there by Swaggy, the AWPer for Fierce. Murky also, obviously, the AWPer for Fierce. Takes a lot of damage from the pistol of Nuke Dog there. Rezu going to try and make his way up, and it's such a hard position to get up of. There's a massive gap in that smoke. Fsan does take down Rezu, and the position of Murky is no. Fsan really can't go down here, though, is the problem. And the trade, will it come out for Fsan? Will he avenge his teammate, or will Murky take the round for CeX? 3 bullets left. Fsan just playing this perfectly. Oh, the headshot, but the door blocks it, making sure he doesn't die. I'm not sure if it's the correct headshot, but he definitely got dropped to low HP, and Fierce take it 14-10. And it is so close now.
Oh my god, how many clutch situations are going to be presented on this map? Fazan, he's just trying to close the door. He doesn't want anything to do with that engagement. It almost dies in the process. Ultimately, Fierce come out the other end of it, but the slimmest of margins mean all the difference. Even a slight angle adjustment might have been enough to allow the stopping power of the AK to get that kill. But now CeX, they are forced onto just USPs, a P2K and a P250 on Liam, and they're looking to allow Fierce that 15th round. They're allowing them to get to the match point on this first map.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do sometimes, though. You do have to play for the overtime, and I would like to remind everyone this is the CeX map pick of Nuke. A surprise pick to come up from them as Liam gets a shot there. So maybe there's Fsan again. We'll finish off the round 15-10.
You have to see crispy shots like that. Fantastic little bit for Liam, but ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter, as Fierce have enough economy to continuously buy back into these rounds. But CeX, they need to win 5 in a row to bring it to overtime here on map 1. We would then be moving on to Cash, I believe, as their map pick. I would have CeX starting on the T side, but can they get those 5 rounds together, as they've gone for this lobby crunch on the CT side off the buy, and Swaggy has gotten both the kills so far, 3 for himself as well. Rezu will answer back. Fazan is there for the trade, but Murky's left all alone in the 1 versus 3. He's dropped on the site, and ultimately Fierce are going to move on towards B.
Yep, the wrath of Murky in the hands of Murky right now. But can he do anything with it further? I'm not sure it's possible. It's not impossible, but it's definitely not quite possible at the moment. Now, the body is so good by Fierce. The utility usage absolutely perfect at the moment. They don't quite know it's affecting Murky, but it certainly is. So now the positioning for Fierce is put them in an almost unlosable situation at the moment. Hype will peak out. 16-10, Fierce take the map pick of CeX and move on to Cash with a smile on their face.
Yeah, stealing that from right under CEX's nose.